Imagine the softest sheets you've ever felt. Now imagine them getting even softer over time. I'm here to tell you about Boll & Branch and how you can discover this new level of softness with their iconic sheets. In a recent customer survey, 96% responded that Boll & Branch sheets get softer with every wash. They source the rarest 100% organic cotton for an incredible softness to start. Then they skip the toxins and harsh chemicals for a natural feel unlike anything else, and it all comes together with their signature weave. This special design feels buttery, breathable, and unlocks new levels of softness with every wash, and they stand behind their promise of softness. With their 30-night guarantee, you can wash, style, and sleep in their sheets for an entire month. If during the 30 nights, you don't love your sheets or feel them getting softer and softer, you can send them right back. No questions asked. So head to bollandbranch.com for 15% off your first order with code Odyssey. That's BOLL and branch.com. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
You've discovered your link to GoPowercat.com's Tannahill and Spiller Powercat Podcast. Here are your hosts, former K-State tight end Travis Tannahill and former Wildcat safety Monte Spiller.
Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Tannahill and Spiller Podcast. I am Travis Tannahill. Got Monte Spiller on the line with us as well, talking a little K-State football after a disappointing, put it nicely, showing last Saturday against a pretty good West Virginia Mountaineer team. So, Monte, first off, how you doing today?
I'm not too bad, man. It's been, considering that the Cats lost last Saturday, I guess the positive is we got beautiful weather here in Manhattan area, and Texas beat Oklahoma State, so they helped us out big time.
Yep, no, exactly. What's the high school update? The boys, what are we, like halfway through the playoffs, deep into the playoffs? What's how things going?
Second round of playoffs, we end up played because of COVID issues, they end up putting two higher ranked teams, us and Perry Compton, up against each other early in the first round, and they're number 3 team in the state, and we came up short this past week. I'm proud of the kids. They played well. And we knew going into the game it was going to be a challenge because they're not number 3 for any reason. And their only loss came prior to us playing them. The only loss was the number 2 team in the state was Hayden High School, which is a good team. But we knew it was going to be a battle, and our kids played well, but we came up on the short end this week. But good season. Our kids know they did a good job. We're proud of our seniors and the underclassmen. They're in the weight room as we speak.
Exactly. Well, shoot, we've heard from everyone. I think everyone is just kind of thankful to be playing. So you got the whole season in. Did you have any cancellations or anything?
We had one. Our very first game of the season, we were supposed to play Silver Lake, and they had a couple of coaches that were tested positive for COVID, so they canceled that game. Outside of that, we were very fortunate to get the rest of our games in.
Sweet. Sounds good. Yeah, that's kind of what I think everyone's kind of just taking this season's gravy. It's just they're getting to play football. And like you said, those seniors, I felt bad for some of those seniors last year that kind of got basketball state tournament got canceled last year, and track got all the spring sports got canceled. So do you coach anything else, or just football?
I just football at the high school level.
Nice.
There was a time when my boys were younger, I was coaching youth football, youth wrestling, youth track as well. But now that they got a little older, I'm just dad in the stands making those faces. So
yep.
I'm not coaching any other sports.
I like it. So awesome. So your schedule opens up for the next 9 months. But sweet. Let's dive into Kansas State versus West Virginia. Give me, first off, where'd you watch it? Second off, just kind of give me the big picture thoughts of that 37-10 loss to our Kansas State Wildcats.
Yeah, I watched it at home. It was the first quarter, it was to be expected. I was kind of disappointed. I felt like the offense, I expected more out of offense earlier. And then defense, it was 3-3 going into the second quarter. But I felt like our defense just couldn't get them off the field on third down situations. We got them in a lot of third down, and then they would go to a slant or the running back would get a big run, and they would get the first down, and it kept drives going. And I think once that quarterback, they scored their first touchdown, his confidence, you could tell the difference in his body language. His confidence was there, and they got rolling, and we never did. I think if we play the game again, A few things going to look different, but we were just, I don't know, we looked like we were up in West Virginia at 11 o'clock in the morning, got up at whatever time it was, and we just didn't seem focused like I thought we could. And it's one, and I'm not making excuses by any means, because West Virginia, they beat us handily and they deserve to win, but we didn't look like the K-State that I anticipated.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think, I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's like, I feel like maybe we've been playing, I don't know, a little better than we were the last few weeks. And then I don't know if we saw the true K-State team against West Virginia, or, a team that didn't play well against West Virginia. Because, it just kind of, honestly, it was a terribly boring game to watch, especially from the Kansas State offensive side of the ball. So they just really never got things clicking, never got things going, get a couple first downs, and then, Will Howard to throw an interception. And so, you look at the team stats. Just total yards, 225 yards for Kansas State. That's not going to win you too many ball games. West Virginia, 485 total yards. So, that West Virginia offense really got going, in that second and third quarter. And then, really just across the board, every single stat line goes to West Virginia. Third down efficiency, first downs, total plays. We got them in punts, but that's not a category you want to win. Tight end penalties, and then the turnover battle they won. So literally across the board, West Virginia won. And I remember, we talked about the one statistic that's held true for West Virginia in their four wins. They've rushed for 100 yards, they've held the other team to under 100 yards rushing. And their four losses, the opposing team has gotten 100 yards rushing. That statistic held true against Kansas State. Kansas State only 41 yards rushing, and West Virginia coming out with the W. So what are you seeing? Either from the offensive line, from Deuce Vaughn. I know we heard some rumors that maybe he was a little banged up, where Coach Kleiman kind of shot those down. But what's happened with the explosive firepower run game, or is it just as simple as we have a young quarterback who's not as scary to these defensive units, so they're just being a little more aggressive in the run game, and they don't really have to respect that pass game?
Yeah, I almost wonder, and I said this to myself. And we talked about a little bit there. West Virginia's D-line, they are a good D-line. And you probably noticed it, the first couple of series, I think we passed the ball like 3 straight times, and that's not K-State.
Yeah, we came out slinging.
Yeah, and I'm almost wondering if we gave West Virginia's defensive line and defensive front too much credit, and we tried to go another route as far as passing the ball, and it's not us. And I, anybody that has football knowledge, to get a successful passing game, you have to set up the run game in most cases, unless you're Texas Tech, and that's opposite. But I think K-State kind of shot themselves in the foot without being a little bit aggressive and seeing if we could get the run game going early. But, the first couple of series, we passed the ball around the yard, and we didn't have a whole lot of success. And I think that kind of put us behind the 8 ball from jump also. And West Virginia's defense is good. I'm not taking away from those guys. They fly to the ball, and they play with a sense of urgency. But I feel like K-State didn't help themselves out much by passing the ball so much that first series, And then it's one of those things where Will Howard missed a couple of guys that were open a few times, and his confidence was kind of shook. But on the flip side, the time when he did throw good balls, guys weren't catching them. And so it was just bad all around.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to put it. Just bad all around. Yeah, I was a little shocked they came out throwing the ball like they were. I don't know if they were trying to get Will into a rhythm, if they were trying to catch West Virginia off guard, or kind of what the strategy was there. But it's whatever. And I don't disagree. Trying something new, change something up. If you see something on film that you're trying to exploit, that's great. But I still think for this team to win, they got to control the trenches. They got to run the ball well. And then you ask Will Howard to do less than what they asked him to do against West Virginia. Having him throw the ball 37 times is not a recipe for success moving forward in the Big 12. He's just not ready. He will be, maybe next year or 2 years down the road, I think he'll be able to sling the ball around 40, 50 times a game if they need him to. But right now, 40 or 37 attempts, that's just not a winning formula. And if Kansas State wants a chance moving forward, they're going to have to do it the old school, the old school Bill Snyder way, which is control the time of possessions, no penalties, no turnovers, and you find a way to beat a team that's probably better than you, but it doesn't matter because the scoreboard is in your favor at the end of the game.
No, exactly, and I agree. And looking at the bright side of it, we lost on the road to a good West Virginia team that's kind of surging a little bit. They're playing decent, but on the flip side, we're still in a good position as far as the conference, top 3 still, and that's not a bad place to be. And a lot of times it goes unnoticed, and you would know Bradley Moore, he went out early in the game. I'm not sure what the significance of his injury was at that point, but you lose one of your top targets in Bradley Moore, and that puts you even in a more difficult situation. And honestly, I can't think of 3 receivers that we have that I trust right now at this point to make plays.
No,
I can't think of 3. And that's not like they say. You've always in the past had 3 guys that you trust that you can get the ball to, no matter what. From 89 up until last year, there's always been at least 3 quality receivers that can make plays. And right now, I'm not seeing it. Yeah,
I'm with you. I mean, if I had to pick 3, I would pick Deuce Vaughn, Bradley Moore, and maybe Phillip Brooks. Phillip Brooks has shown me a little bit the last couple weeks, and 2 out of 3 of those aren't wide receivers. So exactly. That's kind of just proving your point. But yeah, I'll be curious what were your thoughts on that Bradley Moore injury? To me, it almost looked like have you ever had a guy or known someone like that? They're like a kidney contusion. It almost looked like painful. He just got his kidney rocked, which as long as it didn't rupture, he'll be fine. But it's a horribly painful and a delicate injury, because if it's bruised and battered, then it can rupture, and then that's very life-threatening if your kidney ruptures on a game day. So they'll take precaution. If that's what it is, I have no idea. We haven't really seen any reports come out on him. This is total just speculation, because that was really the only thing it could be. He just kind of took a helmet right into his lower back, which if it was just a muscle strain, I feel like he would have played. You can gut those out and play through those. So I don't know. It'll be curious to see if we have him. If A.J. Parker doesn't come back on the defensive side of the ball, if Bradley Moore can't play this Saturday, it's just you're doing a good job of keeping things positive, and I'm taking this train south real quick, but it's gonna be a rough game, and I'm a realist. Don't get me wrong. And K-State, they're resilient. They're gonna be at home, and they understand what's at stake. They got a really good Oklahoma State team coming into play. So they understand. They understand. And Coach Lyman, I have complete faith in them. But our guys need to figure out, hey, you have to be consistent week in, week out. And it's time for some younger guys who haven't produced to step up. Yep, no, exactly. But hey, I've been negative Nancy today. 4-2 overall. Should be 5-1 if they just come ready to play against Arkansas State.
I agree.
4-1 in the Big 12. If you told me to, would I take that halfway through the season? Shoot, every day of the week I'd take that at the beginning of the year. So 4-2 team, but I think our schedule is pretty backloaded. So we do have some tough games moving forward, which we will transition to that right now. Kansas State versus Oklahoma State, which is, I don't know about you, but that was always one of my favorite games to play as a player. I just felt like we were always pretty evenly matched. We're both kind of ag schools. I think we both kind of have a little bit of a chip on our shoulder with, a lot of the fans in Kansas, love KU. They're a top 5 basketball program. We're still kind of that second tier school, I think, in a lot of people's eyes. I don't believe that, but and I feel like Oklahoma State might think that as well. Obviously being right down the road from Norman. So what, any memories from playing Oklahoma State? What's in your time, or what sticks out to you about just that university or that school in general?
No, I've had none but good memories. We've been fortunate. With my time, we were, I had to say dominant, but you got to remember too, I played in the Big 8 and the Big 12. It makes you feel old.
And, aging yourself.
And those the first couple of years where we played North and South, so we would change back and forth every other year. So I only had a chance to play them twice. and both times we were successful. But it was always a good experience. I love going to Stillwater as a player and as a fan. It's very similar to a Manhattan. I think Manhattan might be a little bit bigger as far as geographical-wise, but as far as the town, walking up to the stadium, we have Aggieville. They have their areas around the campus as well. Very similar to Manhattan. Whenever I went as a fan, people have been super nice. Nobody's been like just mean to us wearing purple, but it's been a good experience. But like I said, back then in the Big 8, we played every other year compared north to the south. But both games were good, and it didn't really nothing significant sticks out, but it's always a battle. And it's guys that you were familiar with because a lot of times half their roster was stacked with a bunch of Texas kids, and me being from Texas as well in Dallas, I recognize a lot of the guys from similar high schools or from around the state. So it was always kind of good to see that, and whenever we play Okie State.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And yeah, Stillwater's a fun town. Other than they smoke in their bars. It drives me nuts. I'm like, why do you guys still smoking in your bars? Like, we all know smoking's bad for you. Why? How is this even legal? But yeah, they still smoke in the bars down there. So I guess it's a state of freedom, I guess, something like that. But awesome. Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, I love Stillwater's a great town. I think it's got a lot of similarities to Manhattan. Good people down there. I know a bunch of Tulsa people that love their Cowboys over there in Stillwater. But from the game plan standpoint, obviously quarterback and Spencer Sanders, wide receiver and Tylan Wallace, and the running back Chuba Hubbard. The three amigos. But when you look at this roster, I mean, Sanders is good. He's pretty darn good. But as we've known, I think this is kind of Skyler's issue. You can be as good a quarterback as you want, but if you don't have weapons around you, you have a hard time moving the ball down the field. Tylan Wallace is an exceptional wide receiver, but after that, there's nothing. So you find a way to shut him down. You can stifle this Oklahoma State offense, and then Chuba Hubbard. He hasn't done much this year, for all the accolades he got last year, and he really hasn't found a way to turn it on and be that dominating running back that he was in the past. And I'm sure he's not sneaking up on anyone. Teams are putting game plans together to stifle him. And so really across the board, I mean, on at first glance, it's like, holy crap, this offense is amazing. But you break it down, it's like, hey, it's only three pieces. If we can find a way to to take out Wallace out of the equation, and then that'll naturally make the quarterback position struggle. Kansas State's run defense has been pretty good. D-line's done a nice job. And so, when you break it down matchup to matchup, Kansas State, I think, matches up pretty well against Oklahoma State offense.
No, I agree. And I'm curious to see who K-State chooses to eliminate this week. Because Texas, they went into the game plan. It was shut down Chuba Hubbard. They were like, you are not going to beat us. If you're going to beat us, it's going to be the quarterback or Wallace. And they did a good job of shutting him down. And Wallace has his plays late, obviously. But Texas went in with the attitude, we're going to put everything in the box, and you are not going to beat us. And I'm almost wondering if K-State will take the same approach, because last year, obviously it's last year, but Chuba Hubbard torched us last year. But I never wish any harm on any player, but Okie State's quarterback, he's not a traditional quarterback. He wants to run, and he doesn't do a good job of getting out of bounds or sliding. He wants to finish the play. And a couple times against Texas, he got his bell rung, and I saw him kind of getting up limping, here and there. And I was kind of concerned for him, is he coming back? So I'm almost wondering if he will be the same way this week going into our game. But like you said, if you can figure out who you want to eliminate out of those three players and force the other two to be the player, the one to take over, we'll see what happens. But I'm guessing K-State probably will target Chuba Hubbard, but who knows? You never know.
Yeah, you never know. And then, it can transition throughout a game too. It's, coming with one game plan and, you're saying, hey, we're going to play soft, shut down the pass. And then, Chuba Hubbard breaks out a 80-yard first quarter. It's like, well, shoot, maybe we need to throw another guy in the box. But yeah, Spencer Sanders, I mean, he looks the part of a nice dual threat quarterback. 6'1", 205 pounds, throws the ball pretty well. Like you said, I mean, he's as athletic as they come, which is so nice to have at the college level. But I don't know. My only hope, not my only hope, but if I'm Kansas State's defensive coaches, I'm hoping, Wyatt Hubert, Wiley, some of those guys up front can do a nice job of containing Chuba Hubbard without needing a bunch of extra guys down there in the box. Sullivan's done a nice job. So I feel decently confident about our run game. Just, guys, we don't have the numbers, but guys are beating their blockers and getting to the ball carrier. And then because I think this K-State secondary without or with a banged up A.J. Parker is still worrisome to me. So I hate to just put it all on one kid, but I think if A.J. Parker plays and A.J. Parker is healthy, this Kansas State defense has a chance to slow down this Oklahoma State offense, and then that gives your offense a chance to, put up, 25 points might win this game. So if A.J. Parker can play, if A.J. Parker can be healthy, I think Kansas State has a chance. If A.J. Parker does not play or A.J. Parker is so banged up that he's out there but he's a liability, I think it's a long night for the Cats.
No, absolutely, and I'm hoping and praying that A.J. is healthy or is good enough to play. And if he does, that's huge for us. And it didn't hurt the fact that we are back home in Manhattan. My understanding, it should be a decent crowd from what I'm understanding as well, compared to what we've seen through these COVID times. But on the flip side, what we need to do, what we have to have happen is for our running game to have ball control, kill the clock, and finish with touchdowns. Field goals is not going to get it this week. We have to score touchdowns, point blank. And then if our defense can get at least 3 stops the first half, and when I say stops, hold Oklahoma State to punts or 3 and outs or even field goals, that gives us a really good chance if our offense can sustain long drives and also with special team play as well. K-State has had a really good run against Oklahoma State as far as special teams.
Yeah, special teams worries me a little. I know Kansas State's going to play well, but when you go against, in my opinion, special teams is a lot about coaching. And so if you got some good coaches on the other sideline, they can, and your players are willing to be disciplined and play assignment sound on the special teams. I mean, you can eliminate that special teams advantage pretty quickly if you're a coach that knows what they're doing. And I think that coaching staff knows exactly what they're doing down there in Stillwater, especially, Joe Bob Clements and Coach Dickey were both vital parts of the special teams unit in Manhattan when I was a player. So they know the drill. They know how to put good special teams units on the field, and no one was better at some of the special teams units than Joe Bob Clements. So it'll be exciting to see. But I don't know. I think Oklahoma State's prepared enough. I think Mike Gundy's a good enough coach to kind of eliminate that part of Kansas State's advantage. So I really think it's going to come down to that's probably going to be a draw. It's going to be a neutral. Both teams will do their assignments, but Kansas State won't get anything on the board from the special teams side. So it's really going to come down to can K-State control the ball, move the ball, get first downs, run the ball with effectiveness, and then can A.J. Parker play and slow down the Oklahoma State offense. As simple as it sounds, I think that's the key to victories in this one.
Right. No. And, every week I try to look at a player that I think is kind of overlooked as far as either offense or defense. But I got a feeling that Khalil Duke, he might make some plays for us. I'm hoping he does, but I got a feeling because they're going to double Y Hubert. If they're smart, they're going to double him, keep an eye on him. And I think that's going to allow Khalil Duke to get one-on-one because Oklahoma State's tackles, they're good. But I watched the can't think of a young man from Texas. He's a DN, had a phenomenal game. And I think he's built him and Khalil Duke are built similar and have similar games. So if he can kind of emulate and produce like the young man from Texas did the week before, he could have a big game. He can have a big day. So that'd be fun to see.
Yeah, I think he's played very well so far this year, and Kansas State needs a 2-sack performance or more from someone to show up and ball out. Because I think I don't know, this Oklahoma State offensive line, they don't really scare me. So I think Kansas State has a pretty good, we match up pretty well. We can stop the run even if we don't have the numbers advantage, and then you just got to hope A.J. Parker can play on the outside. and shut down Tylen Wallace. So, Coach Kleiman, give me a call. I got the game plan ready for you. Here it is. I'll send it to you via email. And that's how you beat an Oklahoma State team at home. So, where are you going to go? Are you going to the game? I'm not. This is my first home game I will miss. So
I am. I had opportunity to go, but I'm not going to go just because with it being 3:00 game, that kind of cuts into a lot of stuff I had planned throughout the day, and it'd be too tight. It'd be a push to get there on time before kickoff. So I would not go. I'm not going this week.
Makes sense, but yeah, no, I've been to every game so far. The atmosphere's gotten better and better every single game. That first game was like kind of awkward. Like no one knew like, hey, we're here. Can we even like cheer? Because we're like, spreading our germs through the air as we yell. But yeah, no, the atmosphere's gotten better and better. I feel like people have gotten more and more comfortable and really just gotten know the drill, know what to do, know how to be safe, yet still cheer on your team. So hopefully, and I think this game will even be better than the last home game against, who do we have? KU at home, I think was the last home game. So
yeah,
which that was a good crowd. That just wasn't a very good ball game. So it kind of that crowd kind of lost energy in the second half, myself included, just because it was too easy. So, which is just another mind-boggling thing that we got our butts handed to us by West Virginia, and the week before we whooped KU's butt. So it's like, man, how bad are they? We're by no means the best team in this conference. Whether we can make a run for the Big 12 conference, that's a whole other story. But we are by no means the best team in the conference, and we laid it on KU. How low are they? So sorry for taking a 60-second detour to talk crap on KU, but I take those opportunities. I take those opportunities whenever they come up. So
never apologize for that. Yep. Never apologize.
No, exactly. So yeah, I'll be watching it on TV. Sounds like you'll be watching it on TV. Should be a fun game. Anything else here before we wrap up?
No, man. I'm looking forward to seeing the Cats play. Hopefully they can bounce back and get back on track. And next week when we're talking about this game, we're praising the O-line and we're praising Will Howard and the QB play, and we're praising the team as a whole. So that's my hope.
Yep. No, I agree. And that's, Will Howard, he's going to, I feel like there might be a game where it just clicks for him. So hopefully that happens this season. It might not happen until next season. So eventually it just kind of all comes together and he puts together a really good game. I think he's got the talent and the mental fortitude to get that done. But right now the game's still just flying by him. I mean, it's going 100 miles an hour for him right now. It needs to slow down for him, and he needs to make some better throws. He needs his receivers to help him out. So hopefully, knock on wood, this game is the game where that clicks and defense can shut down a very potent Oklahoma State offense, and we can get some production out of Deuce Vaughn, see about Bradley Moore, see about AJ Parker. So overall, a lot of questions this week, but hopefully we will have some more answers on Saturday, and hopefully we're cheering on a Wildcat victory on Saturday as well. So Monty, have a good week, buddy.
All right, brother. Go Cats.
Sounds good. Go Cats. And we'll talk to you next week. See ya.
Powercat Podcast. All rights reserved. GoPowercat.com and Spirit Street Publishing.
With Blue Link Plus, you can access your Hyundai Tucson Limited remotely. Doors unlocked, temperature set, lost car found.
There it is.
Get complimentary class-leading Blue Link Plus. Call 562-314-4603 for complete details.